Susan. If you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome. What I thought I would do today is to take you through my quilted project bags and knitting project bags that I have made over the years, especially the last couple weeks. I've been obsessive with English paper piecing the last few weeks and have taken the opportunity to piece quite a few panels, and I've turned them into bags, and I'd like to show you today. So here's what we got for today. We've got one pile. We have a whole nother pile, so I am looking forward to taking you through them. So starting with English paper piecing, which is what I've been super into, I have started a new project with Tilda's English Rose. So I love this print that she has. It's basically these tiny little floral prints, and I have basted quite a few of these hexagons. So you can see the gorgeous prints that she has in place for this particular line of fabric. I just love it. I love Tilda's and Liberty's tiny little floral prints. Anytime I see them, I just want it all. I want it all. I want to own the entire collection when I see it. What I usually do is I turn them into these flowers instead of, sometimes I do just continue to piece them into a large rectangle, but I find piecing them while I'm working on it into these flowers is really convenient because you can stack them easily and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So the one that I showed you last time that I was working on, I have turned them into these, mug rug. Take a look. I've turned them into Ziploc bags. I got this idea from Creates by Jen, I think. I'll put her Instagram handle on the bottom, but she has these bags that she's made in every single size you can imagine. And you could pretty much do anything you want. This could be embroidered, this could be cross stitch, it could be quilted with your leftover blocks from your project. There's no end to it. You really could do anything with these leftover blocks. So what I did was I had enough of these hexagons that I just trimmed them in half. I cut them into rectangles that are 6x8, and you have zipper fabric on one side of the zipper, binding on the other side, and then you attach that to the vinyl and you bind it. So I was a little intimidated about sewing with vinyl, but it really was not hard at all. Basically, because you're never sewing the vinyl directly. It's always sandwiched in between fabric, right? So for example, on the bottom that you can see here, I'll show you, right here, right? It's really how you do binding. You basically have two pieces of fabric that you fold it over. You have the vinyl in between, and so when you put that under the sewing machine, it's not sticky at all because the foot is dealing with the fabric, not the vinyl. So it was super easy. And if you need to iron the vinyl, obviously you put it in between a sandwich of fabric, and you can just iron on top of the fabric, and the vinyl will flatten out. You wouldn't put the iron directly on the vinyl. I think it will melt it. And so because I had so much fun with this, I went ahead and made another one. So this is the Art Gallery collection, which is, I think, this stack right here. So I didn't want to English paper piece a whole panel, so I just went with the flower, which I thought was super cute. I just did a few simple quilted lines. I had the coordinating fabric, same size, 6x8. And then I went ahead and made another with diamonds. Super fun, and I'm using it to store my English paper piecing project, right? So I've got my glue-based shapes ready to go, my needle book, a little scissor, and it's, I could pop this into my tote bag, and I would never be bored when I'm out and about. I have another super cute project I have to show you. So I had another English paper piecing project that I was working on, and I got just enough piece that I turned that into a little pouch. This was a labor of love. I loved it. It was hard because the finished piece of English piece hexagons was larger than this shape. I had to trace the shape, which meant I had to cut out quite a bit of the piece final rectangle. That was the hard part, to just cut into a corner and throw out the rest, because all those hand stitching takes time, right? And so the end product is worth it. Obviously, like, this is the shape I need, so you have to trim and throw out the rest of it that's basically not usable. So basically, I made it the same way I would make pouch. It's a different shape. I lined it, that you can see, and I have my logo stamped. I feel very fancy having my logo stamped, and it's super cute, and I'm looking forward to using it. It's really enjoyable to have these handmade bags in my tote bag that I get to see on a daily basis. Sometimes when you make something and you finish it, it's beautiful, you tuck it away, you never see it again. I'm all about enjoying what I have made. And so I just find that these small bags are, number one, super easy to put together. Number two, low commitment. Number three, you never get bored because it doesn't take very long to finish. You can move on to the next thing. And then more importantly, these things are so useful. There's always a use for these bags. So here's another example of what I mean by useful. My daughter and her friends are super into LOL dolls. Are yours as well? I didn't realize how popular these dolls were until recently. So my daughter's collection of these LOL dolls is really growing. And if you've seen these dolls, you know that they come in so many bulky plastic boxes and these different shapes, and the animals come out of these packaging materials. It's all basically plastic or large boxes, and I really don't like to store those things. I just feel like there's no use to it. It really shouldn't be in their playroom taking out most of the space. And so what I did was I've made my daughter and her friends these little LOL doll bags. So I thought it's super cute to have matching fabric. I got these from Joann's. They were so cheap, but super cute. I made a little handle. On the other side that I'm not showing, I have used stamp to stamp my daughter's name, so she knows that this is her bag, and all her friends got their own name stamped. And I basically have also made these little accessory bags. So the same thing, the same Ziploc bag that I showed you, but what this is meant to do is to keep all the tiny pieces of accessories that comes with these dolls, right? Like the sunglasses, once you remove it, you could pop them in here, and it just kind of helps her keep these organized and these pieces don't get lost. These small little accessories wouldn't get lost in this large bag. And I customized her little zipper here with purple beads so that she knows this is hers. I got too lazy with the stamps. I already put it away, didn't feel like taking it out again, so I just used beads for these ones. So, super helpful, super useful. I love making things that you get to enjoy all the time. While we're on kids bag, I thought I would show you these drawstring bags that I've made. These drawstring bags are super useful with children. So let me explain what I did with my children when they were little. I made this particular bag to store my son's diaper, and it was particularly useful when we were on a plane or road trip somewhere. We would know that this Snoopy bag holds his diapers. I measured it out to fit exactly around 4 to 5 diapers, wipes, travel size wipes, and the diaper changing pads. They will all go in here, and I have a design so that there's a simple strap. I put it in, through my wrist, and then I can hold my baby and we'll just go to the restroom to change his diaper, especially on a plane, because this is really all I needed. So I will grab this and then off we went, and I will leave my main purse or tote with my husband. So we all know how small those bathrooms are on the plane. And so just only having to take this was great. And I made it in a way that really doesn't have any quilting on the inside. It's literally 2 pieces of fabric because I wanted to keep it as compact as I can, because there's already so much stuff, right? Like everything is so bulky, and I really just wanted something super simple just to hold the diapers. And I have no intention of keeping these forever, right? So if they fall apart, I'll just make another. Another thing that I really enjoy using for my children when we travel are these drawstring bags. They are pretty much perfect for their toys. So what I would do is usually I have one for all of his cars and another for all of his logos and miscellaneous toys. And it's perfect because when it's time to board the plane or get in the car, you just throw your toys in there, zip it up, pop it under the stroller, and then off you go. All these things that I see in these drawstring bags or the diaper bags, I usually just put them directly under the stroller. And because nothing in here is valuable, I'm not concerned if we lose them. And having these bags made just helps me being organized with my little kids. Now, obviously, you know, here's an example of something I made for my daughter, and I think this, I kept, you know, some of the paper pads, crayons, stickers for her, and scissor and glue, and, you know, pull it close, and this was her little project bag. Super easy to whip up. I'm happy to put together a tutorial, but I think there's already quite a few on YouTube, so I'm sure you can find something if you just look up simple drawstring bags. Another bag that I made with the Ziploc method is this one. This is another Tilda collection. I made a quilt out of this quilt collection. It had quite a bit of half square triangles as left over. So I decided to turn them into a little bag. This one is slightly bigger than the ones that I showed you. And I did a cute little design down here. And it's really, you could be as creative as you want. There's no right or wrong. And these small projects are just the perfect way for you to try something new that you may not have done before. Another way I use these small project bags is, here's an example of one that I made previously, and this is to store all my purse making supplies. So I'm sure, you know, some of you may be familiar with these various tools. They're all these little pieces, right? And so they can get lost so easily in your sewing center. Or in your room in general. So I made a little bag here, and I just know that these supplies are in this bag, so when I need to pop something for the snaps, I look for this bag and I know they will all be in here. And again, it brings me joy to use things that I have made. Here is another bag that I made, and this is Embroidery. This is a design and tutorial hosted by Sandra of, what is the name of her podcast? Cherry Heart, I think is the name of her podcast. I'll pop a link in the down bar. She had all these video tutorials and a free pattern to take you through the process. And I pretty much just follow her directions step by step and whip this up. And I think most of the project I saw was just keeping this in the quilting hoop, and then you hang the hoop on the wall. But I just decided to, with my obsessions with pouches, I decided to turn it into a small pouch. And I lined this with some large rose floral prints. I sketched up a little butterfly on the back. It was super easy. You know, it's just something fun. I mean, I could put it, all these bags that I'm showing you here, I've never used them, but who said you have to use things that you make, right? And so if you don't end up using it, you just put them away and take them out, and when there's a need for it, you know you have so many bags to choose from. Here's another bag that I made with the leftover Tilda scrap that I just showed you, and I love this one because it was so simple. I just attached these various strips together, front and back. I did a little D-ring over here, and I like to cover both ends of my zipper. So these zipper tabs, I really like having them. I feel like it gives you a more finished look. I lined it with Tilda prints. Here's another one with Tilda, and for this one, I stamped the image, and I used pearl beads as her necklace. So this was my, I think, first time trying out stamped images on fabric. Again, because it's so small, it's a perfect way to try something different. Here's another pouch that I made with leftover quilt fabric from a leftover quilt. This is made with leftover fabric from a quilt I made. And this one is by my favorite fabric designer, American Jane. She's with Moda, and I love her prints and all her fabrics. They are polka dots on the inside. Her fabric collections usually, all her collections are usually primary colors. and I have a thing for primary colors. I just think they're beautiful and classic. So here's one that I've made, never used. Here are a couple ones from several years ago. These were kind of all around the same size, and it's to store. I find them super helpful to store, sanitizer, napkin, candy bar, and just you can pop them all into one bag and then store this one bag into your tote bag versus having all these pieces just lost in your large purse. Another one. And I've also made a huge one. I mean, it's quite big and it's perfect to store an entire sweater size project. This would be perfect for. Lined it with blue polka dots. Really love this print. I thought it was super cute. I forget the name of the collection. I've got another fun little various scraps of floral prints. Another Tilda one front. The back is a leftover quilt block that I didn't end up using in my quilt. So I turned them into a flat pouch. And then I also tried to make one of these wallets. Have you seen these? I think these are super popular. So I just whip up a pattern myself. It's got zipper on one side, pockets, vinyl, little small pocket. The funny thing is I don't remember what I designed this for. So I can't remember what this pocket was for. I'm thinking it's probably knitting needles or crochet hooks of some sort. I find that really funny because I opened this up the other day just to remember, like, what was this for? And I cannot remember. And I know there are several super popular patterns these days on how to make these wallets. And maybe I'll whip up another one because I just find them so fun. It's really not hard at all. You're just laying all these pieces together, sew them all around, and then bind it. And that's all there is to it. In addition to these small pouches that go into your bag, that's how I use it. Or store your knitting, store your knitting notions. I also really enjoy making sock knitting project bags. Because I'm always making socks, I feel like I need all the bags in the world to help store these items. So I don't know if I showed you this last time, but I recently finished another bag to store my knitting project, and I really love the size. It's about 8 by 6, and the depth is between 4.5 to 5 inches. I've listed a couple of these on my Etsy shop, so if you're interested, all the dimensions and measurements are on the listing itself. But once you open it, it's super roomy. It fits 2 skeins of yarn, so this is the sock project I'm working on. At the same time, it's still a good size to pop into your tote bag. So I thought this was really fun. I really enjoyed that. And so I went ahead and I made 7 more. I know, I'm obsessive. When I like something, I make a lot of it until I get really sick and never want to make it again. But really, I think at the end of the day, it's just that when you already have the measurements and you know what you're doing, you're just running on autopilot, and it's extremely relaxing because you already know what you're doing. You're just making more of it. And the process of it really, I find it very enjoyable. So this is exactly the same one that I just showed you. It's all from the same collection, the same fabric collection. It's a charm pack that I bought, and so I have enough to make 4 bags from each charm pack. Here's another one. I love the bright primary color. Again, same collection. They all have a little leather tag. They're all lined with linen and my logo stamped. And 2 more of the same thing. So those are super fun to make, and I totally enjoy them. In terms of knitting, before we end this episode, I've been working on my no frills cardigan. So I made a no frills sweater by Petite Knit, and I really enjoyed it so much that I decided that I would make the cardigan version. Now, this was not straightforward for me, I have to say. It took some thinking because of the way this garment is constructed. it's not hard. It's just I've not done it before. So my brain, I had to twist my brain when I casted this on. So this particular pattern you cast on from the back of the neck, and I had to rip it out 3 times before I finally got it. And once I got it, it was, you know, smooth sailing, super straightforward. And I'm at a point now where it's super simple knitting, and I'm just doing increases on the 2 raglans. So it's super easy. But unfortunately, just as things were getting easy, I kind of lost my knitting mojo. So this would just sit in my knitting basket, and I'm sure in a couple of weeks I will be back to knitting. And I love this green. I think I showed the yarn in maybe my first episode, and just take a look at that. The halo, the green, it's beautiful. I know it's going to be a beautiful piece when it's done. So with that said, I hope you're all doing well, that you had a great Easter or Passover, whichever one you celebrate. And as the weather gets warmer, I hope you get to go out more and enjoy sunshine. And don't forget to bring with you either your knitting project or your sewing project. And remember to spend a few minutes doing what you love every day, because that at the end of the day is what brings us joy. Take care, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.